What's your most shameful not safe from work moment? During a yoga class my pants split open. I pointed down at my crotch to ask the teacher if I was doing this right before seeing my member hanging out on the floor. Jumped up as soon as I saw. Leaving a stammering teacher behind me. It was his first class after graduating from training as well. Well, this is not necessarily an SFW, but it is somewhat embarrassing. For over a decade I worked in a high-rise office building. At noon, I would change into a t-shirt, shorts and runners to go for a walk or jog. One day, I changed and took the elevator from the 8th floor to ground, and when I arrived there I checked my shorts pocket to make sure I had my pass key. However, I was surprised to find that I had no pockets. Well, I quickly realized that I had neglected to put on my shorts and was standing in the lobby, overflowing with the lunch crowd, in my underwear, boxers. So, instead of a jog I took the stairs and sprinted up 8 floors. Great workout. Luckily I was able to get back into our office without, I don't believe, anyone noticing. A great rationale for wearing dark-colored boxers. I was 8 and fed up of seeing older people in porn, so I decided to search naked 8-year-olds. The FBI definitely have my 8-year-old ass on some watch list. I fucked my pillow. Not even one of those anime girl pillow. Just a regular one. I put on one of my sister's bra and it filled 2 water balloons for realism. And I put my shirt on it for extra touch. And just started humping the fuck out of the pillow while grabbing the water boobs. I came. The balloon popped. My bed was wet. Post-nut clarity hit and I realized I was naked and sexually harassed my own pillow. When I was 12, I was alone at home after school, felt horny as 12-year-old boys felt, tuned into PH, put on my headset, and started to go to work. Just as I'm about to finish, I see my younger brother and his friend walk into my room, and they both watch me climax. They did a 180, and left my room, without saying a word until they got to my brother's room. Then they started laughing, and the "I don't wanna live on this planet anymore" meme sums up my experience. We never said a word about it, and I hope they have forgotten this, but that is probably unlikely. I know I wouldn't. This isn't so much one about me as it is my friend, but I was there to witness it. My friend has a very strict mom, but she really liked me, so I got to hang out at their house a lot. Me and my friend became very close and they were very religious, so I had no idea, my friend being a 13-year-old Christian, that he would do anything sexual in the slightest. To my surprise, one time I went to his house and it was normal up until the next morning when we were eating breakfast and his mom went through his phone. Out of nowhere, she comes into the kitchen and yells my friend's name and says, "Why are you looking up biggest boobs, biggest butts?" I turned to my friend trying to hold back a laugh, but he was not amused. He went into a room with his mom, and to make matters worse, he said he's only done it a couple times, it's not a big deal. His mom calmed down and talked to us both about how there's no light in looking at girls with big privates online. I have never brought this back up to my friend, but man, it was so funny. The more shameful thing was a year later, I was doing the same with a different gal, and hear the door. He had very much said he was working that night, so I was confused. Turned out my mom had some emergency, so he picked up my older sisters and brought them to stay for a few days. They lived with mom, me with him. It's a small apartment, but you have to take about 8 to 10 paces before you could see past the corner to the couch, and this time when I yelled he had the good sense to hold my sisters back and tell them to wait. A very quick application of clothes, some underwear not included, and one walk of shame past my family, and I waved her goodbye. One drunken night my now wife and I took some naughty photos on her digital camera. The next day we took a drive an hour from home and we get a text from her mom to let us know she's borrowed the camera for a girls' trip to Center Parcs. What could we say? We were stunned at what was happening. For some reason, we chose to say nothing. Fast forward to later that day, whilst looking through photos of the day with all her friends, a photo of her daughter with her boyfriend's junk in her mouth flashes on the screen. Every now and again this comes up as an anecdote during family dinners because her family find it an amusing story whilst I sit there and get lower and lower in my chair. I was 13 and had found my mom's vibrating bullet while she was at work. A little thing coated in rubber with a wire coming out the bottom leading to a little remote to control intensity. I had recently learned guys have G-spots from that scene with Sean Scott in Road Trip, milking the prostate. I was curious, so I proceeded to fully insert it to test it out. Didn't feel a thing from it even at highest settings, so figured it was time pull it out, except it wouldn't budge. I was getting worried and tugging with more and more force when the wire snapped off, leaving just the bullet inside. Had a mini panic attack before deciding to try pooping it out, which worked. I then washed it several times because the smell of poop on it just refused to go away. I finally gave up and packed it back away where I found it with wire snapped and still smelling of poop. My mom never brought it up and I banned ass play from my life forever. My high school girlfriend, many decades ago, giving me an enthusiastic blowjob. Right at the very moment when her mother came home. It startled my girlfriend to the point she accidentally inhaled my cum, and jumped up, head-butting me in the nose. Literally seconds after her mom burst into her room to see her daughter buck nude, on all fours, coughing out jizz like a cat with a hairball, and me, buck nude, with a rock-hard erection and covered in blood. In high school, my girlfriend wanted me to send a video of me jacking off through Snapchat. My phone was sort of broken and glitches a lot. Well, half an hour later she calls me and tells me, "You posted it on your story." Sure enough, I had posted a video of myself spanking the monkey for all my friends to see. My phone had glitches and thought I'd press the story button as well as sending it to her. It's not that bad, but I had been masturbating with a bullet vibrator, and then when I finished my dog grabbed it from under my pillow and my stepdad found her chewing it. Then a second time I got a new sex toy and the same dog grabbed the packaging and dropped it at my mom's feet. Let's just say that semen shows up under blacklight in nightclubs, even on your face. Do wash your face thoroughly after a facial. I have a few, but one that sticks out is this. So, when I was a teenager I was having sex with a guy I worked with, and I had worked a 15-hour shift and I was so tired and the sex was quite frankly boring as hell. So don't ask me how, but I started to fall to sleep. This guy was kind of a creep now I look back on it. I definitely could tell, but definitely didn't care. I was in that state where I'm practically asleep but still a bit there, and I guess I started dreaming. In my dream, I went back into work and was looking for my friends. I saw one of them and she smiled and ran over to me, so I shouted, "Hi, Charlie," to her. Well, with that I snapped back to reality and woke up, and I realized that I had actually shouted it out loud, very loud, and this guy was staring down at me with a very confused look on his face. To my detest, every time I saw him at work after that he greeted me with, "Hi, Charlie." So, as most guys are aware, most teenage boys go through a phase of extreme sexual desire that drives them to use anything available for sexual pleasure if they are creative enough. One of the things I remember doing was trying out different substances as lube for masturbation. Most things that you use on your body are suitable for a rub and tug. One thing that is not suitable, however, is cinnamon toothpaste. I thought that it would have that icy hot kind of cooling feeling. It did not. It felt like I had stuck my penis in Satan's asshole. The fury of 10,000 suns flooded my senses, killed the mood, and left me flaccid in a cold shower to contemplate my choices while standing over a now cherry red dick.